accounts on Jersey that belong to customers living in the UK. Now, that's part of a move by UK banks to check the identity and addresses of thousands of their customers in the Channel Islands to prevent their services from being misused. Well, let's speak to Chris Skinner. He's chairman of the Financial Services Club. It's a networking club based here in the UK. Chris, good to see you as always. Just talk us through the logic of this, because this is frankly HSBC saying, look, we don't want to get caught out again. We got caught out the first time, and that, at the time, was only by a whistleblower within the bank, so they're trying to be cleaner than clean here.
Yes, I mean, we've just seen HSBC's management team taken through the Treasury Select Committee being hauled over the coals over the fact that they were allowing tax avoidance in Switzerland, which, as you say, was because one of the employees in Switzerland released the data. Now they want to actually make sure their books are clean, so all offshore tax havens, the Channel Islands, Isle of Man, and also obviously the Western Caribbean operations will be checked, and any accounts that are not domiciled within those nations will probably be rejected.
Yeah, and it's interesting just looking at what the bank is saying about this. They say they need to know who their customer is, where the funds have come from, and what they're doing with those funds. I mean, the interesting thing here is that, you know, in some cases, it's perfectly legitimate to have an account there, but what they're saying is if they're not happy, the account will be closed.
Yes, we saw the same reaction from HSBC when they got caught out for money laundering issues in Mexico and Middle East, and they closed down all diplomatic accounts in London for Afghanistan, Belize, Albania, any nation that might be involved in something that could expose the bank to risk and sanctions and fines. And they're doing the same now with tax offshore havens and saying, look, we really want to make sure that we're cleaner than clean.
Yeah, and in their words, they're calling this de-risking. So that's effectively them saying, look, they don't want to be caught up in anything that's a little bit dodgy that could cost them further down the line. And frankly, we're talking about all banks here. They've been caught up in a number of scandals over recent years that have meant not only risk but cost to the banks. They've paid out huge amounts in compensation, and frankly, they can't really afford that.
No, I mean, the banks used to allow shades of grey, and now they've actually closed down those shades of grey. It's purely, you have to fit the risk profile to be acceptable. If you fail on any of those risk profiles, they will reject you, and they're closing accounts carte blanche because of that. I mean, just on PPI alone, they've paid out over £30 billion worth of fines, so they just don't want to get into those issues again.
Okay, as always, really good to talk to you. That's Chris Skinner there, talking us through those figures and that changing plan from HSBC and those decisions to close those accounts. A look at the numbers.